A Baldwin with 7 children. What's so fearsome about that?
A lot.
Oh my god, the reason why I sang that is because we found out Alec Baldwin has 7 children because we just watched the what's that show called? The Baldwins.
Yeah. We both happened to randomly watch it. It wasn't something we planned for the pod, but it's such must-see TV that we obviously just both happened to watch it.
It's so good, I think, so far, because I needed to know what Alec Baldwin's life was like more than I thought I needed to know. Do you feel the same way?
I don't know if I need to know more any longer.
Really? You're just one and done?
I found it deeply unpleasant to watch.
Oh, okay.
A thing of nightmares.
Oh, is it because it seemed kind of hard for them to
They're
handle
weird
all
little
this?
sickly, pale children.
You think they're sick?
They look sick.
I think that they're I don't think that they're sick. I'm trying to think. You know, I will say it definitely seems so. I was wondering, first of all, you know, how they came to the decision to have 7 perfect children, much like Captain Van Trapp and whoever he was dating before. But 7 children, what? I know a lot of people have 7 children, but after the 4th,
Not anymore.
no, I know, yeah, some people do, but I was just like, after the 4th, it was like, what is still happening, going on? But I love, you know, I was so happy. Every single one got better and better, those kids, when they were listing them off. Romeo, Eladrio, Ilario,
Baby.
You know, it was as, like, you know, we're only dealing with one child. I have one child. Her name is Penny. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard for Megan and I. I mean, well, you know, it's the most wonderful experience in the world. But every single second of their time, I couldn't even imagine. I mean, they have nannies, but still, I mean, like, it was like, yeah, you got a true peek into what it's like with like the chaos with that many kids, which was shocking to watch.
And a lot of pets who I am concerned for.
Yes, I was too. I was like, what is stopping you from, like, leaving that cat somewhere, like, on the side of the road on accident? You know, like, yeah, but it's like, what is the premise of it? Is it supposed to be like a TLC show where it's like, look how many kids we have? Like, that's what it's about?
It's tonally strange because they had to intertwine his manslaughter trial amongst the hijinks of a John and Kate +8. So they just keep reminding you, like, throughout, that he's about to go potentially to jail for this horrendous tragedy. And you're like, usually it would be like, how do we fit this many strollers in the van or whatever? And it's like, and he might serve God knows how many years in prison.
Yeah, so did they, I don't know the timeline, but did they want a little piece of this when they signed the contract? Because I think any network would have been happy to have the Baldwins on it. I mean, HBO, PBS. I feel like people would have wanted to peek in, even despite the Rust stuff. Do you think Rust was just an extra facet of this, or was it purely a part of it always?
Or he needed to pay his lawyers for that trial.
So that's why he signed a contract to give us a peek into his life.
Because why else would he want to do it? Like, why do you need one more, like, thing going on in your house when it's already this chaotic? Why would he want to do this?
Well, for me personally, I liked getting a little peek inside of that house and what was going on there with all of those kids. I really did. I thought the first episode was compelling to me. You know,
it kind of has, like, an undertone of that documentary Queen of Versailles, where, like, I expected there to be, like, a dead lizard in, like, one room and, like, some, like, dog shit on the floor and, like, just, like, I don't know what the hell their oldest daughter is up to, but, like, it's not going to be good. Like,
Yeah, well, they only could do, there's 7 children. They could only introduce us to the Rust tragedy and all 7 of those children first. But I think we're going to get into dog shit, on this, like on the floor and everything. But
his seemingly diagnosed OCD seems to be a big undercurrent throughout. He's just like obsessively lining up the power wheels and like the water bottles and shit. And I'm like, yeah, having 7 kids and like 10 pets when you suffer from OCD is like a nightmare from hell.
Yeah, I was sort of sympathizing with him as he was straightening all those shoes and putting those power wheels in order, because it was just, I can imagine how absolutely chaotic it would get. Well, so is it because it's not enjoyable to watch someone corral 7 blonde children around their house? Because that doesn't seem inherently fun anyway.
Yeah, it was very much birth control for me.
Right.
And also because it was like, it was very disorganized, I thought. Like, the production of it was just like, nothing was happening.
Yeah, okay, I will say my favorite scene was boys go get a haircut halfway through. They had to shut down the barbershop so all 5 of them could get these awesome haircuts. And Hilaria is not very engaging very much. Like, she's not, so far to me, I didn't see the reality television spark, that we've come to expect on a lot of different other shows. But Baldwin should have that spark. He's been an actor for 40 years or something like that. But I think that because it's a new foray for Alec Baldwin, I kind of liked that he doesn't know what the hell he's doing on this thing and what they're going to like, what they're going to unearth from it. But the compelling part of it for me is that he is in the midst of this, like you said, this horrible tragedy that he's reckoning with. And finally, at the end, when they let the veneer off and they say, our kids have had a really rough time. The older ones have seen daddy, so upset, and like they know that something is wrong, and there's this iceberg that we don't talk about. And he's like, and Alec Baldwin's like, our lives forever change. I mean, the knowledge that he did that, you can tell, is just brimming under the surface. And so as that starts to go through the trial and stuff, I was like, whoa, the juxtaposition of those two things is very interesting. The TLC is going to work with something that they didn't necessarily know that they were ever going to get.
Yeah.
And I have to say, personally, I don't, so there were some scandalous people that were like, oh my God. Sorry, I did not mean to do that voice. But they were like, the Baldwins, total PR package, giving us to love Romeo and I forget another kid's names. Like, trying to show us all their cute, wonderful children and show how they have this manic household in the midst of all this stuff. I 100% think that Alec Baldwin is absolutely innocent of all charges of firing a gun on set. I don't think even for 1 second that he should have gotten any blame, that he should ever be legally liable for that in any way.
Isn't part of the question that he produced the film that was shitty made, or it was a vanity producer credit?
Yes. Unfortunately, Alec Baldwin was not going through the budget on that project. He was not hiring the ammo.
I'll go as far as to say that their freakish need to have 7 kids is the only reason he did that movie in the first place. And if they would have had fewer, he wouldn't have needed that paycheck, and the butterfly effect could have been different.
You know what? Great thing to theorize, but I mean, think about those last 2 kids that you're wanting to not have.
Delete them.
We don't know yet because we haven't met them yet, but I bet those 2 children are going to justify their existence pretty soon. No, but on Rust, I mean, I don't know if this shouldn't be at all controversial. No actor ever in the history of cinema should have ever been given a gun that had a live bullet in it. And any actor in the world given a prop gun on any set on a million different productions would have pointed that thing right at a director's head and fired that 100 times and gone bang, bang, bang. Because never in a million years, except 3 instances or 4 instances. I mean, people have been very hurt on set for reasons, but in no way is an actor responsible for being given a gun with live ammunition in it. And I don't even know how it got to the point where he even had to go on trial, except for the fact that he's a producer. But like you said, he was just given $100,000 or no, like millions of dollars to be the executive producer on that and get that credit, or he demanded it at the start. He had nothing to do with the fundamentals of production on that set, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a super bummer, but again, it's like, is it a topic for a TLC show?
I think so. What if you accidentally killed someone and you have 7
I
children?
would not have a TLC romp of a show.
We don't get this. Okay, here's my pitch. We're so true crime obsessed. You know I am. You are. Robert Durst. Who are some others?
Yeah, I would like the version. Whoa. I need like a filmmaker's POV on this to make the true dark version. But it's almost even darker that it's through the TLC lens.
That's interesting. Yeah. This is, what if you weren't morally culpable, but responsible for death? Like, remember when Matthew Broderick allegedly took a little... I'm not even going to say it. He was even more at fault. But imagine them having to reckon with, it's not murder, but you are in some way responsible for the death of someone else. I think that, and the fact that it's Alec Baldwin, a contemporary celebrity who was just on SNL 50, like announcing Miley Cyrus performing or whatever, is so wild to me. You know, like how does one deal with that? Do you just go into a pure shame and leave the public because you did that? Or do you go full throttle and go on TLC and have this show? We don't know. But I just like what they're uncovering as they film them. But what I'm bummed out about is that TLC, I don't think it has the capacity to make as compelling a show as Bravo would have, or HBO would have, or anybody else would have. That's what I'm saying.
Like, they didn't even push her to be honest about her linguistic proclivities. They totally let her get away with that. And I'm like, we're not weirded out that you're bilingual. Being bilingual is awesome. Like, I don't give a shit that you speak 2 languages. I care that you act like English isn't your first language when your name is Hillary and you're from Boston and you go, como se dice, onion?
Yeah, cucumber. I think Megan is the one who was so all in on hilarious stuff when it happened. And so she says that her accent was completely diminished by the time she got to this thing, from what you're saying. And yeah, you're right. But I think, it's the first episode. I guess you're right. I do wish they would have been a little more critical of some of those moments. Do you remember that Hilaria was absolutely in the thick of it and going through it every single day of her life, and then January 6th happened?
How are those connected?
That stopped everyone completely from talking about Hilaria Baldwin's accent.
Oh, like that was the hot ticket that week? It was
from December 25th, Christmas Day, up until January 5th. We had Hilaria Baldwin fever. And
maybe
everyone
she called off the National Guard.
I don't know what the hell she did, but she's always going to think about January 6th as the day that everyone stopped talking about her accent.
The day the earth stood still.
I'm not 100% sure if that's true, but I think it quite possibly lines up. But here's, I'll ask you. So my only pitch was, what do we do? Do we ever get to see someone who, like the Thin Blue Line? You remember that Errol Morris documentary where that guy was in jail and he was like, and then Errol Morris found out that he wasn't actually responsible. We're getting that sort of different aspect of true crime, which I think is kind of fun. But will you ever watch it again? That's the question.
I'll have to be pretty bored.
Oh, wow.
It could be good background.
What about when he's like at the trial?
Is that going to be on there?
When he comes out of it, when he comes back and he gives Hilaria what he did that day,
and she's going to be like, "Make 7 sandwiches right now," and he's going to be like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. Who's your favorite kid?
That creepy youngest one that I can't tell how old they are.
The one that he says does that voice.
Like it's a demon.
Yeah, I like them all. I think I'm so far a huge fan of the baby, the 2 or 3 year old. That one's my favorite.
The baby, like has the baby 4 seasons syndrome where
Yeah.
it's like looks like a baby, but it's big, and so it's walking around and like saying stuff, and you're like, wait, how old are you?
Megan keeps saying that our little Penny is going to be one of those bald babies that's walking and talking but has no hair. Yeah,
And
it's
they,
interesting.
for some reason, only dress her in like dull colors, so she kind of like runs around looking like Dobby.
Yeah, I definitely a flash of little Dobby went into my head when I pictured who I was thinking of, the little girl. But well, I'm gonna keep watching and I'll let you know if anything.
Yeah, ping me if there's like a 911 I need to watch.
But you know, my bar is gonna be really low for what I enjoy, because I even liked all of those haircuts, seeing what all those boys were getting at the haircut store. So I'll try to keep it pretty high level. What I say is good.
I felt like Alec thought that was gold.
What I didn't like,
his one son made like one joke, and he was like, "Oh my god!"
He goes, "You just made the day, my boy." He goes, "That was great. Did you get that?" And I was like, "Alec, that was not good. That was not worth going to shutting down the barbershop for." He goes, "You both suck at driving." It's like, that I was thinking also the Bravo Sheen or Bravo Edit, like that barbershop shit wouldn't have even made the cut. That would have been 20 seconds. They would have been diving so fucking deep into this shit, and that's why it's a bummer that TLC got the contract. But then I was thinking, like, would Bravo have ever wanted this show? Because it's better than Denise Richards and her Wild Things. I'd rather see the Bravo version of this dealing with the Russ trial than I would well, no offense. I mean, sorry, but...
Well, I was surprised that Denise Richards got that show in the first place.
She has the connection to the Bravo universe, so maybe they didn't want to make the first move of going outside of the Bravo universe and just making a show about a celebrity family. But have they done that in the past? I mean, is it just too far askew from what Bravo viewers would be interested in?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they have done that in the past, but currently it's not usually something that they do, so that's why I was surprised. But I don't know. But yeah, the TLC of it all makes it certainly even extra
it's
strange.
just, no offense to TLC, and you and I did want to go to the I think we want
TLC
anything that anything TLC will give us, we want it. But it just is remarkable how shitty production wise, and just how like kind of like overall shittier TLC looks than Bravo. Like they really could step it up. I mean, just look at some other Bravo shows and be like, what can we do production wise to make this look a little better? I mean, it looks like you're going into a completely different universe of shitty content when you get over to TLC, in my opinion. Yeah.
Well, more to come.
I cannot wait to see what the hell those Baldwins are going to get up to next. Oh my God. I loved when it took them 10 minutes to get to the Hamptons.
I agree. I thought that they were going to leave a cat behind, and it was really stressing me out.
I was like, the chance of leaving a cat behind, it's exponential. It's like 20 or 30% when you're having to
They also appear to have purebred cats, and I'm like, it's such a weird impulse to want to have an excessive number of animals, but not because they're rescues. Like, I feel like usually when you have like excess of pets, it's because you're like, we got to save them all.
Yeah,
but to have like purebred pets in excess is like demonic.
Yeah, I think that's odd. And they made it seem like Hilaria was trying to kill Alec Baldwin. He goes, the minute I told her that I had an allergy to cats, she bought 4 the next day. And then he goes, the one thing I don't want in my life, because it would hurt me so much and cause me to have a horrible allergies and go to the emergency room, is having all those cats in my car. And she pretends she didn't hear that and loads him up with all those cats.
Yeah, I think she hates him.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I had a newfound respect for Alec after watching that.
Interesting.
All right, next piece of news. Sorry to talk about the Baldwins.
Only 20 minutes on the Baldwins.
No.
We'll put the time codes in.
Oh my gosh. Wow, 20 minutes. Oh my God. All right, let's get to it. Okay.
Well, speaking of people that are going to jail.
Yes. Well, not. I mean, I don't know if Baldwin is, but
watching people
reckon with
going to jail.
The criminal justice system. Yeah, Karen Huger got the worst news you could ever get, for sure. I mean, she was sentenced today as we're recording this, 2 years in prison, but 1 year is suspended. I don't know what the hell that means. What does that mean?
Like, she'll only have to serve one?
Like, why the hell do they do that? It's 2 years, but you -1 when you think about it. It's like, what?
Yeah, that would still put her, well, depends, I guess, how long she actually serves, because I assume it'll be less for like good behavior or whatever, unless she has poor behavior. That would potentially be still the least amount of time a housewife has served.
That would be, and people are already saying, there's all that, yeah, like you said, good behavior, like maybe that's 5 months or whatever. And I do think Karen will be on her best behavior. As I've said before, it's easy to be on your good behavior when you can't do the thing that you were guilty of in prison. She can't drink and crash into stuff in prison, just like Jen Shaw can't defraud the elderly in prison. So it's easy to just have good behavior. But I know Karen was absolutely in every way blown away by that. But then you have to take into account that this is the fourth alcohol-related traffic incident that Karen has had. I said it 2 weeks ago or 2 days ago. I said, I think it was 3. It was 4. This is the fourth. So the judge said, you can't do this anymore. He said, or she said, I don't know who the judge was. They said, if 4 in 17 years, who knows how many other times you've been drunk as a skunk behind the wheel and gotten away with it. So unfortunately, this is the worst case scenario for Karen, but something had to change here with her driving drunk as hell and crashing into shit, because no matter what, it could have really hurt someone. Like, it just absolutely could have.
Yeah. I feel like, well, I was reading a bunch of stuff. I saw someone in a law office go around. I watched it like yesterday, and they were asking everyone what they thought she would get. And none of them went this high. But then I read some comments where people were saying that they know people that after 4 offenses have gotten like 5 years.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, I don't want
more
her.
than she thought.
Yeah, I don't want her to, obviously. I have compassion for Karen, and this is the worst thing in the world. I'm like, you and I both, like, we love Karen Huger. We enjoy everything she does, but it's just like, Karen, please, for the love of God, never drive a car again.
Also, why the fuck did you plead not guilty?
Oh my
God,
she
I'm
didn't
sure
know.
She would have gotten less time.
Do you think that she had access to that body cam footage? I feel like the entire season makes more sense if you don't think she knew what was on that body cam footage.
They tell her, like, in the video, they say that they're recording.
I know, but she was too drunk to know. She goes, she was too drunk to know.
But her lawyer should know that.
Karen, I saw the body cam footage, and we should not have pled not guilty. I don't know who the hell would ever look at that footage and say, you're not guilty. I mean, it's the most clearly drunk person I've ever seen in my life. And she admits on camera she's drunk. She says, I'm lit. And she says, I had a couple of beers.
I know. But yeah, I really don't understand why she pled not guilty, because the outcome was inevitable. Like, I don't know what, like, the whole season we were like, what is this slam dunk evidence she thinks that she's going to come up with that is going to get her off?
I have no idea what she was thinking it was going to be. So it's so awful. I feel so bad for Karen. Obviously, she's not willing to say that this is a problem, but she is someone who is inclined to drink a lot and drive her car, and that needs to completely end for the rest of her life, because she's gotten lucky, in a way that this has never resulted in harming someone else.
Have you seen the movie Flight?
I have been reticent to watch it.
I understand. I actually don't think you should watch the first part, because it has a scary ass plane crash.
Yeah.
But do you know what it's about?
I know. Denzel Washington was drunk at a bar, and then he goes into a plane.
Drunk plane driving. But he's the greatest pilot of all time, so the alcohol didn't make him crash. It didn't impede him from doing the most miracle landing of all time.
Oh, so so his drunken behavior didn't start to cause the plane crash?
No, it was a malfunction. But he has Don Cheadle as his lawyer, who is like affiliated with the airline, so he can pull all these strings to make sure that they are not found liable. And one of the things he does is he's like, I got that alcohol test scrapped. He's like, that machinery was old and rickety. It's inadmissible. But it's a real trial of conscience, because he they said, they're like, we ran that crash on with like 10 different pilots, are the best pilots in the world on the simulator, and nobody could land that plane but you.
One was drunk as hell, a 10 out of 10, and one was absolutely nothing, not even one beer. Wait, so what does he drink before he gets in that thing?
Vodka and cocaine.
No, he's ripping a line of coke right before he gets in there?
Because he's hungover, so he needs to right himself with some,
Oh
snow.
my God. Classic. Drink some vodka and then write yourself a little rip
So
of
then
cocaine.
the rest of the movie is basically like a AA movie or like a sobriety movie. But guess who plays his wife?
Oh.
Ex-wife.
Will you tell me? I can't guess right now.
Garcelle.
No way! Yeah. Oh my God, I'm watching Flight for sure. I had that one successful plane trip, and now that I have Xanax, I'm ready for the next flight, and I can watch movies that are about plane crashes now.
Okay, good.
So
I found it to be pretty upsetting. I watched it after that plane landed upside down because it has it's not a spoiler, but like he brings the plane upside down as a way to keep it in the air.
Oh my God, let me guess. Wait, as a way to keep it in the air? Wait. So wait, I'm trying to think.
I'm not an engineer. I don't know.
Wait,
Talk
no,
to
but
Neil
no.
deGrasse Tyson about that.
I believe you. I'm trying to wonder what could have happened midair that requires Denzel to be like, I'm drunk as hell, but I gotta flip this thing upside down to land it properly. I'm watching Flight for sure. I want to watch Sully also. I think I've got it in me because Sully's
that movie
a success.
Sucks.
Oh, it does.
It's so boring.
Oh, I thought I don't know why. I heard it was good. Okay, I'll watch Flight before Sully. So what were we talking about right before Flight? Karen.
Yeah, I'm just saying she needed a Don Cheadle who could like pull some crazy tricks out of their hat to be like, oh, like that body cam, can't use it. The blood test, bad, can't do it.
This is how, Your Honor, she doesn't look drunk at all. Why do you think she looks drunk? Well, I have to say, truly, I'm so conflicted. I'm so conflicted about how to feel. I feel like there has to be some penalty in Karen for her to know that this is nothing she could ever do again. But I also feel so bad for her, like that this is something she has to go through. And I think that she needs to. Well, whatever. I don't want to get too deep about it, but those are my thoughts. It's a rough spot to be in.
I know it sucks. Like I don't want anyone to go to jail. Like jail sucks. But it really seems like she can't get it through her head that like you cannot do that.
Yeah, I wonder if people know criminal justice heads, what's the scale of like how much probation and community service can rectify. I mean, I'm sure there was something in there, but when you're a judge and you're like looking at the law and you see 4, I mean, you're just like, we got to do something here. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, in permanent breathalyzer in her vehicles for the rest of her life, Shannon got that one after that one that we know of. I don't know if she ever had another one.
She has to have it forever?
Well, I would think you would. I would think you would have or at least for a 5-year period or something after. I mean,
I'm very interested in when Shannon had that, I don't know what to say, like the inner workings of who makes those? Where do you get them installed?
Shannon showed us.
I know, but I'm like, what a weird like aftermarket item.
What does aftermarket mean?
Like that you have to add to the way your car works.
I mean, unfortunately, it's probably more common than we even think about. There are just people who drinking is so much a part of their lives and they want to drive their asses off.
My neighborhood is littered with buzz balls.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it right now?
Always.
I still have not seen one live. Like on the ground.
I'll add you to my thread. I text my friends every time I see one, so like every day.
I would love one because I would love that'll be the first day I see a buzz ball in the wild, and I would take a photo of it. I've seen them in stores now that I know what they are.
Okay.
All right, we are ripping on news. The last thing, this is a lighthearted thing. This isn't like that other stuff. Andy received a wonderful email, Andy Cohen, from Kelly Bensimon, and it says, "Dear Andy, here's the new cast of RHONY that I think you should have. First of all, it's centered around me, Kelly Bensimon. Everyone tells me that I should be back on RHONY, and everyone loves me. So I'm the center." And then she listed off 6 other names. And then Andy confirmed that was true. I don't know if it was 6. 6 or 5 or 7. Andy said one of them I've always thought about, but we'll never get that person. But then he couldn't find the rest of the names on Sirius XM. You listened to it too, right?
Yeah, he was trying to be nice.
Yeah.
And I was dying to know who that other person was, though he wouldn't say. So I have to assume he said it was someone he's known forever. And I'm like, are they famous? Like, I wonder who it is. But he made it sound like, because who's his co-host? Arthur, what's his name? John Arthur Hill,
I think.
He was like, was Kelly on the list? And he was like, oh yeah,
it was centered. It was centered around her. I think, I like to have fanciful thoughts like that too. Kelly, it was never my favorite cast member on RHONY in any way. I don't think that
Remember her on the island, whatever that shit was? She was still completely insane.
Oh, on Ultimate Girls Trip.
Yeah.
I was just saying, I don't think that she renewed my vigor for her as a cast member on Ultimate Girls Trip. I thought she was pretty lackluster on that as well, and kind of a detriment to that show. I don't know why she was asked back, except because they wanted Scary Island Part 2, and they wanted to reference that a bunch. But I don't want Kelly's RHONY. No. I don't want it. And there's something needs to obviously happen on RHONY, but it's not going to be Kelly's RHONY. So
did you see what John Hamm said?
No. What did he say?
He said he was on Watch What Happens Live, and they gave him whatever they do, like 20 seconds to give your hot take or whatever. And he was like, it's not a hot take. Bring back the old RHONY girls and mix them with some of the new girls and call it a day.
And what, can I ask, did Andy Cohen look like when he said that?
He was like, okay. Like, he was like,
wow.
He was like, that's cool. Like, he wasn't like mad or like, don't you worry, that's happening. He was just like, oh, that's okay.
Can you imagine the first episode they have back where Luann is with the cast members, and then all of a sudden Tilda Swinton is in the first episode for no
She's
reason?
Friend of. It's like Tilda.
You could not make more compelling content off camera than the RHONY cast is doing than what is happening now, and it's not being captured. We've talked about it so much, but the fact that Tilda Swinton is now a part of the RHONY legacy universe and is not being captured is absolutely shocking to me.
I'm when am I seeing Luann? April, I think, at the Wiltern, and I'm like, I hope Tilda's there.
I hope Tilda is there too. Yeah, I mean, they're doing everything, and Bravo is really, I mean, in their defense, they're just making up shows to put RHONY legacy cast members in. They're like, Love Hotel, yeah, Luann would be great on that. Dorinda, Bluestone Manors, yep, green like that. Like, they want them in the Bravo universe so bad, but for some reason they just can't be on RHONY. I don't understand it.
It's so upsetting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to have to watch Love Hotel.
Yeah. I
will.
My enthusiasm is dampered because I want Giselle and Nams, and I want Ashley and Josh. I think they already found their perfect people, so I'm not as intrigued to find out who else is going to be around in this hotel. I don't want anything to ruin the sanctimony of those two relationships.
I was watching something on Peacock, and it just started auto-playing Crappy Lake, and Jimmy was like, oh, is this a new season? I was like, no!
No, it's like from 2 years ago, I think. Yeah. Well, great. I mean, wonderful stuff. All right. Any other news?
I think that's all for now.
Yeah, we'll talk about we've got some Summer House stuff that we'll talk about as we talk about Summer House. And speaking of, I mean, I think we should just, what do you talk about
Battle of the Sexes. Why was this episode named after the party that they showed for like 5 minutes?
Because they were gearing up for this party last episode, and so I think I think it's one of those perfect titles like that you and I tried to have for Turtle Time, where it has that classic double entendre. You know,
yeah.
You could. I mean, I guess no sexes were actually battling. It would have been a better episode for last week.
Yeah.
But I think it's just, if that's sitting there, Battle of the Sexes, and you're titling an episode, you got to go with it.
Yeah. Do you feel like this is one of the least shown 4th of July parties of all time?
Yeah, I do. And I hate to be at even a whisper of criticism for Summer House, but this, I don't know if they gave their true full hearts to this one, because I didn't even understand the girls versus guys part the first time I watched it. It was like, on this side is the girls part, we have the bar, which is pretty fundamental to the party, and that's going to go a long way with getting votes.
Yeah.
And then guys stuff was hot dog and the DJ, and you're like, okay, well, the DJ is providing music. I just think that concept, I was like fired up.
Yeah. Like compared to last time when like Wes was like on the bike and his like nose got sliced. Like I remember that party being so fun.
It was, oh my God, it was so awesome. The race car, NASCAR shit. Yeah. They did the alien party. I think that maybe they didn't have enough time to ramp up for this one properly. It's the first party of the season, but it happened to be 4th of July. So they didn't go all in, but I make this a Turtle Time guarantee. I know that there's going to be some rockin' parties coming.
That are pirate one.
Pirates gonna be so good. I wish that that concept could have. I really felt like there was something there. Could two rival parties that are completely separate and have distinguishing characteristics that you can vote on, but they kind of just put a line in the middle and said, "Hot dogs are mine."
Yeah, it was lame. I also wanted to ask you. I saw that Danny Pellegrino tweeted that he thinks I forget how he phrased it, but he thinks that they need to get a new house. He said that the scenery is getting tired year after year after year because they don't really go anywhere else. And he was like, what about like on Real World when like every time you come, they get to like discover a new thing, claim new areas. Like, I kind of agree.
Yeah, that's a good take. I think that it's so logistically obviously perfect for them, and they're so entrenched in everything, and so production would be so loath to switch absolutely everything to accommodate the cast in that way, but I do understand for entertainment that would be really fun. New bedrooms, what kind of weird shit does this house have? Oh, it has this type of pool. They could actually use the movie room sometimes and screen films. So I see the merit of that. That's a great idea.
Yeah, because they switched a few times originally, and then I think they went away from this house, and then they came back. And I remember when we came back to this house, I was like, oh, sweet. Like, I liked being familiar with the house. Have you seen that TikTok trend where it's like, I've never been there, but I'm familiar? And they'll do like the like Kardashian house or like Sonia's townhouse or whatever. Like, if I went to Sonia's townhouse, I would know my way around. Like, I would know where shit was.
Totally. I'm trying to think of what houses I know like that. That's a good trend. Something about it for me is comforting when the door gets stuck.
Yeah.
You know, and them jumping in that pool. But
yeah. But it's like now it's been so long that I feel like there's a limit potentially.
Why won't the owner of that house fix that door?
It's not as bad.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So we'll go through this party quickly. Yeah. It's 4th of July themed. There's big inflatable eagles that are being put on the perch. Whoever loses this battle of the sexes has to get dunk tanked. They're going to get dunked in a thing of water. So pretty high stakes. All of a sudden, they show up in their costumes, and the costumes, obviously, in Summer House are so fun. And Kyle is a bun. And then he goes, "Where is my wiener?" And everyone laughs for a second. And then all of a sudden, Carl starts racing over, and he is a hot dog, the actual hot dog. And then Jesse and West are ketchup and mustard.
Adorable.
So fun. The people come in. Brad X Brad is there. A bunch of fun people are there. This party got life all of a sudden. There's water.
If he can go, we should be able to go.
Well, we'll see. Definitely, maybe season 10 is our year. I definitely want to go to like we've talked about, like a Halloween in the summer costume party. We talked about that. What has more potential than that? Scary Halloween, hot Halloween. Call it Hot Halloween or something like that. And then you and I, we've already talked about it. You and I will dress so scary that I think the cast won't be able to even have a party because they'll be looking at us.
Sierra would love it if we did something crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and no one else dressed up except the boys. Am I right in saying that? There was no other costumes.
Yeah, I don't think the girls had anything crazy going on. Lexi wore like a like stars and stripes like thong or something, but
Yeah, Lexi's sister is there,
yeah.
and Jesse meets her sister. She says, "Hi, sister," or he says that, and then he goes, I like her so much, or something like that. And he goes, I mean, would you look at her? And then there's this random guy that's next to Lexi's sister who they didn't introduce, and he goes, "Hey, I'm sorry to say that if you have a crush on her." Meaning, if that guy has a crush on Lexi and he just called her beautiful or whatever, I was like, we got to know what was up with that guy. Who did Jesse just say that to? Was it like the sister's boyfriend or something, or
Who
someone?
The hell are you? And then they also they showed a man falling out of his chair. I don't know if it was the same man.
Oh, I don't think it was. That guy was wearing. That would be if I was invited to that party. Unfortunately, that would be the only second you saw of me would just be getting drunk and falling off a chair. What else happens? Oh, I like this moment. Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to say that was it.
I did like the moment. I thought it was very cute when Sierra says, "Carl," he's in his hot dog a hot dog, and she goes, "Carl, your hair looks good like this. No grease, no gel, just texturize the top, and you've got a winning hairstyle." And I like when Carl was like, "I just melted. Thank you so much." And he goes, I think it was so sweet, to get a little bit of a compliment from Sierra. And then he goes, one of my goals this season is to reestablish my friendships with some of the other cast members like Sierra and Paige, because we were really good a few summers ago before the Lindsay era. And then they show the montage, and it's like, I do remember all those sweet moments. Everybody loves Carl, except a few people.
Pretty much just Lindsay and Gabby, I guess.
And the internet.
Well, yes.
But I thought it was I like that reaction of Carl really, enjoying a moment where someone complimented him. I thought it was sweet. I thought that was a nice thing.
Yeah, he looked like he had fun. They're like, all right, everyone get the hell out of here.
Guys, it's 6:00. It's 7 p.m. We have to go to bed, so everyone leave. Not one person can stay. We've already said that's when we see that the DJ is starting to, pick up their equipment or whatever. That's when you and I run into the house and hide in one of the bedrooms so we can stay.
Exactly. Then everyone's hanging out. Jesse and Lexi are like intertwined on the couch. They're talking about future trips they want to take. She's like, I want to go on a safari. And the girls are upstairs in bed talking about, they're like, is Lexi the hottest girl that Jesse has ever dated? And they're like, obviously. They're like, she dated Brooklyn Beckham and Kaya Gerber's brother.
Whoa, the heir to the Gerber.
Yes.
What's that called? Gerber
Crawford
baby food.
X Gerber.
Yeah. So they say like that's a long line of great exes, right?
Yeah. I need to look at. I saw like one photo of her and Brooklyn Beckham, but I should look at that more. But that is interesting that she specifically wants to date like Nepo children.
Yeah. Let's think about that. Why? I wonder why. Just because they're cool. I mean, I guess cooler in a way.
Yeah. I think later she's like, most men are threatened by my exes and my lifestyle. And I'm like, what's your lifestyle?
Could you imagine Jesse being like, you dated Kaya Gerber's brother? I mean, I don't know. Just because I don't know any of these people, but maybe Jesse does.
That means that she might have met Jacob Elordi.
Whoa, why?
Didn't he date Kaya Gerber? Or was that Austin Butler?
Oh, I think...
Or did she date both?
Kaya Gerber. She's Cindy Crawford's daughter?
Oh, yeah, Jacob Elordi. Yeah, I get her confused with Olivia Jade sometimes. The daughter of, what's her name from Full House that went to jail?
Is she a Gerber baby?
No. Her dad owns the tequila brand with George Clooney.
Oh, what is that called again?
Casamigos.
That's his?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Wow, I didn't know that.
Her mom is Cindy Crawford.
Oh, okay. All right, that's awesome. Okay, good. Then Jesse and Lexi go into the room together, and they're anything else about that? They kind of have the night cam. Lexi says, "My butt used to be so much bigger," and then
she took too many steps and her ass went away. Call me when that can happen to me.
Is that what you said to yourself?
I'm counting my steps, and I still have a fat ass.
Oh my God. And then Jesse's drunk as hell. He goes, it's still plenty juicy. And then they go to bed. A wonderful night's sleep for both of them.
Yes.
Right? Carl wakes up in the morning and he knocks a big cup of water over on his backpack. And then...
Why did they have to leave that in? He keeps knocking shit over and he goes, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, and then everyone, Paige, Sierra, Amanda, they say, what the hell are we going to do to these guys to make them, suffer for the consequences of not throwing a good party, not having alcohol on their side. That was the true problem. And they're going to put that hot dog flavored water in the dunk tank water along with hot dogs. To me, not so bad.
Disgusting. I can't even think about it.
The water
it had, like, congealed fat floating in it.
Oh, I think partying to me sounds so cool that.
But it's when you're hungover.
If I had to have what they had party wise, to then in the morning only have to take a quick dip into hot dog water with hot dogs, I'm in.
Oh, it really was like hard for me to watch, frankly.
Really? So it had
Frank.
Frank's hot dogs? Oh my God. To me, it had the opposite effect. I thought that no one would say that was too disgusting for me to tolerate.
It was like, no, because it had all the little like floaties. It was just like really sicking me out. I like couldn't think about it.
Wow. Well, so it worked.
Yeah.
It's like at camp.
It smells so bad in here, he said.
Yeah. It's like at camp. Did you ever did you go to camp? We never talked about that.
Yeah.
You used to go to this thing called dog court, and they would all spit in a big bucket and put a bunch of
What?
chili in. Yeah. They'd put a bunch of
What
chili.
camp did you go to?
Yeah, I don't want to say the name, but they put chili.
That sounds like unlicensed.
It was absolutely unlicensed. They would spit in this thing, and then if you got caught for dog court offenses, they would pour this big vat of garbage all over you. I think that's why I'm less responsive
Oh my God. That's giving slime. It's very Nickelodeon.
Totally. West and Sierra share a quick moment, not really even a moment per se, but where they were at the start of the weekend to this. West says, thank God you guys didn't put ketchup and mustard in there, or something like that. And then Sierra goes, yeah, that would have been bad. I forget the exact moment, but it's a little bit where a two-way conversation happened, and that gives West a lot of hope. And it gave me hope, too.
Yeah, he says it's not feeling as heavy with them for now.
Yeah.
Kyle teases that guy, Emerald.
Yes.
Who's coming soon, and Jesse's like, how tall is he? Like, he doesn't want the competition, which he's in for some competition. This guy is a freak.
I can't wait to talk about Emerald. Yeah, he goes, can we take a vote on if we can allow this person to come in the house? And everybody goes, whoa, why? Are you jealous? What else? They dunk.
Yeah, and then this one has a sort of back and forth. We go to the city after this, and Lindsay and Paige go maternity shopping, I guess. They don't really say like why, they just are going shopping.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was for though, right? Because they were like, it's going to be really hot this summer. Wear this.
They just wanted them to have a scene, I guess, even though it wasn't particularly fruitful. But Paige says that after... She's like, the second that Lindsay said that she was pregnant, I felt closer to her. I wanted her to be taken care of and all this stuff. And they talk about freezing eggs. Lindsay's like, I think every woman should do it. Paige is like, I should do that. She's like, but Craig did freeze his sperm, which then we get Southern Charm clips.
Yeah. Which we just watched like a month ago, like that episode. They give the full treatment of him going into that jerk off center, and it says "go hard and go home," and then they go, does he know that he wasn't at risk of losing some of his sperm? And she goes, I don't know if he knows that, and all of his sperm were above average anyway. And also they show the clip where Craig made it seem like him and Paige agreed to both freeze eggs and sperm, and then she says, in this again, it was just completely his idea to go do that.
Yeah, they kind of dog on him, which, I mean, it is funny that he thought that was necessary when there's literally no reason, except he's so conspiracy minded that he's like, I saw a clip where a guy like got in an accident and couldn't make sperm anymore. And it's like, that's like a weird thought to keep you up at night, but okay.
Right. I mean, like, so much random stuff could happen in life. Like, you know, of all things, that's the thing that you're potentially worried about. And then Paige does say, she goes, I thought quite possibly that I would have enjoyed the life of just being married, sitting at home. But then all of a sudden, to me, was given a Giggly Squad tour of 60 cities. I'm having the time of my life doing all this shit. Like, she's very successful. She goes, so my priorities have completely changed. But she said a version of this multiple times. But this is the first time she said, like, this huge tour, you know, is happening for her, with her and Hannah.
She's like, I'm just as surprised as everyone else, but, you know, I have to take advantage of this period. And then they touch on just quickly, they remind us that Lindsay's mom bailed when she was like a toddler. Oh, and so she wants to break the cycle with this new baby.
I need to always keep that in mind. You know, that's some biological or historical details that I sometimes like forget. It's like when they showed that scene of her talking to her mom, I was just like, oh my God, like I can't even imagine what that feels like. So she says, it's time to break the cycle and do things completely differently with my child to make up for some of the trauma I suffered. So yeah, totally. That was, yeah.
Then we get a little date moment between Jesse and Lexi at this like lawn club, which I feel like New York is always doing the most to be like, look at like the fun stuff we do.
Only in New York. Yay, we got a turf, what's this, turf here, and you could put a bunch of buckets out. Why don't you throw one of those basketballs in a bucket?
Cornhole.
Yeah, I mean...
Only in NYC.
I'll be honest, they are blowing LA out of the water with this one. Vines inside, bunch of branches and stuff, and then buckets in the center. She goes, I'll have a gin and tonic, and the guy goes, do you mean a win and tonic?
Wow. It reminds me, remember when... Carol on RHONY hosted a ping pong tournament and had like a whole trophy and everything while she was dating Adam. Yeah. It kind of had that vibe.
I used to go to Spin LA. I think that's what it was. Spin. Oh, wow. Yeah, wow. I saw Susan Sarandon there.
Whoa, R.I.P. Oh my God, sorry. I was thinking of Suzanne Summers.
I, for a full 2 seconds, thought Susan Sarandon had died.
Sorry, Susan.
She's not dead. She walked into Spin and like her energy was like, everyone was just like, oh my God, Susan Sarandon just walked in. But yeah, I remember Spin LA or whatever, ping pong room. This is when they talk about, Lexi and Jesse are talking about the status of their relationship in a way. Lexi lets Jesse know in so many words. She wants to know, is this going to be only us going on this journey with each other? Because I'll admit it, I'm kind of jealous and I don't want to share this experience with anyone else. Basically, exclusivity talk pretty early, right? I mean, that's the what she was talking about.
Yeah. And yeah, she's basically like, I am the jealous type. I'm not a casual dater, and I'm a relationship sex girl, meaning like I don't fuck unless I'm in a relationship. And Jesse's like, oh no.
He goes, I'll be honest with you, that's a tough one to swallow. He also does say it's a little early. He says it nicely, but he goes, we've been doing this about 3 days. And so I think it's kind of soon to talk about have the exclusive talk. But then when she drops or doesn't drop it on him, but when she says, I'm a relationship sex person, he goes, well, I'm going to be navigating that, you know, for the first time. So allow me some learning room or something like that. But they're kind of being very ambiguous and vague. And Lexi doesn't want to, I think, fully make the parameters known at this point, and neither does he. So you can see that the confusion here is going to lead to a lot of problems, which we already know. The Lexi's going to be worried about some stuff that Jesse's doing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to say it, but when Jesse and Sierra, like when Jesse walked in, I don't know when these moments happen or whatever, but there were some fun Sierra and Jesse moments where I was like, oh, I can kind of see you both. I think Sierra likes Jesse enough, and I think Jesse likes Sierra. I don't know if he's just being flirtatious like he always is, but I don't know. There's a little something there.
Yeah, they allude to it when we get to it later, but
they're
like, are you... No, like, when he's like... They ask him if he has told the girls he's flirting with that he's moving on with someone or whatever. And Amanda goes, has Sierra gotten the news?
That was awesome. And I mean, Sierra's, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think that, I don't know if I'm completely off, but it does seem like there's some.
When she was on Watch What Happens, I told you they were like, would you ever date Jesse? I think that was the question straight up. And she was like, I love him to death. I adore him. Like, he's so great. She goes, but I don't think it would be smart for me to date another person in the house or like another person that's on TV. But it was like, if that wasn't the case, whoa, I think maybe not.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Now we're at a party I can get behind. Kyle DJ party. It's on a rooftop. Speaking of only in New York, he goes, oh, yeah, we got a view of, what building was it? What's one of the
Empire
State Building. He goes, I got one of the best views of that, and I'm going to be DJing my ass off. Everyone arrives to this party. Bailey is there. Lexi is there, right?
Yep. Kyle is like, Emerald's coming any minute. He is classic NYC. He's Casanova.
He goes, if Casanova was alive today in the 21st century, that's the one we're in, right?
Yes.
He goes, if Casanova was in the 21st century in New York, it might look a little bit like Emerald. But if Casanova had multiple partners, I'm like, who is Casanova?
Yeah, we need to look into this lore. He arrives. West is, introducing himself. He asks where he's from, and it turns out he's from born in Bangladesh, but when he was very young, and he's been here since. And then they're like having a back and forth about. He's like, "What do you call people from Bangladesh?" And he's like, "Bengali," and he's like, "Oh," like they're having this whole little back and forth. I'm like, West is cute.
Yeah, I can't wait. Wes had one of my favorite moments coming up later with Emerald in about 20 minutes or so. Yeah. I love that. Then Paige looks at Sierra and she goes, okay, enough of this. I can't listen to this guy DJ anymore, which she didn't actually say that, but I'm wondering, this is when you got to know what Kyle's set list was like. I want to know the real music that he was playing. But Paige goes, Sierra, please walk with me to go get a drink. And this is when we got to dissect this. She goes, look at what the hell Kyle texted me this morning. And then there's some stuff to parse here, because in the preview of this episode that came out 6 days ago, they showed Paige showing her phone, and some very great people on Instagram and I think on Reddit screenshotted that text, transcribed it with everything they could see, and there was a lot that Kyle put in this thing. By the time we got to the edit, they did a enhanced version of just the last 3 sentences to make it very sort of more condensed for the plot, or more centralized around the plot, instead of the random Bravo fourth wall break shit that Kyle put in there. So do you want and it's confirmed. I had to make sure that this is not just some like wild theory, but this is what it was. I mean, you saw that. I sent it to you. So do you want to say like some of the details that Kyle included in that?
Yeah, in the you mean the original one?
Yeah, in the original one before we get to the one that's included in the edit.
Let me see. Well, the one thing that it gets more specific. Like, so in the one that we saw, it's very simple. It just says, honestly, beyond discouraged with Craig too. This wouldn't be a topic today if it wasn't for him and about a dozen lies. I can't believe this is where Hannah is at 3 years later. I'm fucking ape shit. But then in the one that we saw, it says that, all of that. Yeah, but then
right. Well, yeah, then there's some Alex Cooper shit, which I don't remember. Like, I don't remember the interview where Hannah talked about more about how the cheating really, what was it? The cheating right up until the point of the wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, he's basically like, I think he talks about how, like, it harmed their relationship or something. And then he's like, he says Hannah had the lowest Q rating, and then there's like they couldn't read
I can do it on the entire network, aka likability. Just get Dave Kaplan drunk and he'll tell you. So that was wild to me. Who because I looked it up. Dave Kaplan Oh my God, do I still have this? Dave Kaplan is like the audience research person at
Wow.
Bravo and NBC Universal. So he's
Did
saying
his
that
LinkedIn come up when you looked?
no, I think he's on Twitter. Let me look it up again. Dave Kaplan, Bravo. So I was just like, because I was like, Kyle knows what like Kyle loves this kind of shit, I guess. So to use this as evidence, Dave Kaplan is the head of audience research and content analytics at NBC, Peacock, and Bravo. So he's saying that Hannah, after season 5, had the worst Q score in all of Bravo history. And if you want to find that fact out for yourself, get Dave Kaplan drunk, and he'll be the first to tell you. That person who manages the Q scores.
He's gonna get in trouble.
I know. So I mean, okay, so that they made it. They didn't want all that fourth wall break shit in there. They wanted it to be very concise and just be like basically Kyle ranted about Craig and about Hannah. But the thing that he brought up, well, I don't know how much time we want to spend on it, but to me it is pretty, shocking that Hannah, from what I remember, in season 5, had the lowest Q score in Bravo
That's
history.
how I felt at the time. He ends it by saying, "Sorry to barrage you. I was just heated in the moment. Can't vent to Amanda because she basically divorced me for potentially hurting your guys." I don't know, like what he meant after that.
Friendship or something?
Yeah, or like a podcast or something. I don't know. But I mean, watching it live, again, I've pretty much only watched Summer House through once because I watched it as it aired the whole time. So I haven't really like done rewatches the way I have with like everything else. But when I watched it at the time, I fucking hated Hannah so much. Like I was like furious.
Oh my God. I was annoyed at some of the decisions, but I thought in the James Kennedy Vanderpump Rules world, Lala, Kent, the people that I'm used to, I was just like, Hannah, Berner pissed some people off, and so it is just completely amazing fodder for season 6 when they all have to go back in the house. It immediately deprived them of so much entertainment by firing Hannah, in my opinion. I had no idea that the audience would be like, I love everything else going on here except what Hannah is doing. Because in my opinion, all Hannah did was, well, I'm sure there's more, but she had sex on the countertop in the bathroom of Kyle and Amanda's house. She didn't take the trash off. She started to really disrespect Kyle in a way, and he was getting really offended. And then that's what we got as viewers. And also they said that she accused them of all doing drugs, which is definitely not something you should do. And then people say, who's the guy who got kicked out, Luke? They said that she said some really offensive, some could say maybe in the vein of humor, but she said some really offensive stuff about this. All this, though, to me, is within the realm of stuff we can deal with within the Bravo universe. When I found out that Hannah was fired in real time, I said, what the hell? Why in the world? I didn't hate her at all. I just thought that she navigated in a strange way for a bit, but there's been so much redemption in Bravo that I didn't understand that reaction at all. But then Hannah said on this Barstool Sports thing, that one that Kyle is referencing, she says that she thinks she was fired is because Kyle absolutely hated her when she did a Truly seltzer ad when they're supposed to be a united front centered around Loverboy. Mm-hmm. And the only reason that now that's kind of even more resonant is we see how Kyle gets when someone else does a rival drink, and he got fucking pissed at Craig, who's not even... I mean, he's sort of close to the Loverboy universe, but he's not on Summer House. When he took a Sprit Society thing, Kyle went scorched earth on him and called him a liar on television. So it's all interesting to me. And then Paige is basically saying, what the hell does this have to do with me? I am not your confidant for you to talk shit about my best friend and my boyfriend. Obviously, Paige likes both of them more than Kyle. Yeah. So,
But yeah, she said that... it comes up later, but she says Kyle did a whole Page 6 exclusive about Hannah and that he lied through his teeth throughout the whole thing, saying that he doesn't have the power to get her fired. And it felt a little chopped up, like I wanted to hear the whole thing, but she said that he refused to make up with her at the reunion, and we all know what that means. But I was like, I mean, like Lindsay and Carl didn't make up at the reunion, and they still put them in the same house.
Yeah, that was more of like a wink to Sierra that I don't understand as a viewer, but I think that they kind of, in a way, test how relationships are going to be and how they serve a new season based off what you can deal with at the reunion. And the fact that Kyle was just absolutely like, I never want to look at Hannah again, meant that if you're choosing sides, sort of like a mini Teresa and Melissa situation, even on this Summer House scale, that Hannah was kind of left in the dust because of Kyle and the house navigating away from her. And then they say at one point too that Paige regretted not sticking up for Hannah in the moment. And I remember that in the moment. I mean, it was everyone against Hannah, but the counter to that is that I've seen that so many times in Bravo history, and normally they get another chance to come back. And it was such a bad move for Bravo because Hannah is now a very a celebrity in her own right. Despite that, Summer House is like an asterisk in her biography. She has a hit podcast. She's doing Netflix specials. So overall,
they're hosting the Vanity Fair Oscar party.
Amazing.
Which I'm very confused. I saw they had Paige wearing like an outfit that looked like the outfit from The Substance, like the yellow trench coat and sunglasses, and Demi Moore like reposted the promo, and I was like, does Demi Moore know who the fuck Paige is?
I mean, probably. I mean, they're getting into it. They're getting into a new echelon. I'm like, they really are. Like, they are becoming a new tier where Bravo is just a part of their biography. Like, so. Anyway, I mean, it's all interesting, and that text message was illuminating. It just made me think about Q scores. It made me think about how off they possibly could be. But you probably were the person that is like, your sentiment probably was expressed by that reaction, you know, the Q scores.
Well, yeah, so. It's also interesting. I mean, again, I'm getting ahead because it's like the same conversation, but Paige is so pissed off about all of this, and she's like, Kyle has gone way too far. He accused Craig of being a liar on national TV. And I'm like, cut to Sierra in the same chair 2 weeks ago calling Craig a liar on national TV. And totally. I'm like, you're not going to gain my sympathy for someone calling Craig a liar, but anyways.
Yeah, it couldn't have had better anti-Craig context now by him being in the middle of a season where he's lying his ass off, you know, and even Paige now would be like, yeah, I mean, he stretched the truth for sure. So yeah, so that was all interesting, and then it's kind of over that DJ party. She doesn't have the confrontation with Kyle at his event.
Yes,
she's going to save that for the gender reveal party next week.
Yes. Then we get Danielle comes back to the house. We see a montage of her and Lindsay over the years. She's like, I don't know. She's like, the break has been nice. And I'm like, I wonder how she actually feels.
No, I think I know. First of all, I love Danielle. I am, not a lot of people agree with me. I'm sure her Q score is 30 out of 100.
Flopped.
But I love Danielle, and I was so happy when she came back. The firing her and not firing anyone else on Summer House is a huge statement, because she is just as much a part of the OG ethos of Summer House as anyone else. And the fact that her rate is much higher. She's been on for 5 or 6 seasons, so she was too expensive for what she was bringing to the show, I guess. But from an entertainment standpoint, as someone who is a Lindsay confidant but still has relationships with the other people in the house, I would much rather see Danielle and what she brings than Gabby, who is fulfilling the same role as her. And it's only a matter of, I think that Danielle possibly got too expensive. But I just think it's such a bummer that she has to go to this house and 99% of the cast, plus 2 new cast members that she just met last season, are still there, and she's not there.
Yeah, I did start to become afraid of her when she pulled out a knife when that guy at the Winter House wasn't doing what she wanted, and she almost cut his head off.
I don't think she was going to stab him.
Something was wrong. She was not doing well mentally.
I have to remember Winter House season 3. I know that what was that guy, Alex?
She threw that guy's package from his mom across the house and was like, "You're a bitch."
That was my favorite moment. She goes, "You need to stop talking about your mom, Brian Benny," or whatever she said. Oh, yeah. I loved, oh my God, I love Winter House. But I just feel bad for Danielle. I don't think that she should be fired. And she goes, "You know what?" She goes, "Say what you want, but I still miss this old house. house. And it's like, I
Yeah.
definitely think you wish that you
Yeah.
were still on Summer House.
There were a
Obviously.
couple moments in that initial conversation where I was like, oh yeah, she does have like the gravitas of like when she saw the baby sonogram on the wall. She's like, what the hell is that? And she's like, Lindsay's like, I presented it to the group when I announced. And she was like, was Carl there? And I feel like most people wouldn't have said that. And then also when she was like, are you going to do Spawn Con for your gender reveal too? And Lindsay was like, I don't know how you would, but if I could, I would. But I was like, she's allowed to give little jabs that I feel like even Gabby wouldn't do, you know?
Totally. And that was a jab from Danielle, right? Are you going to do a sponsored post for your gender reveal?
Yeah, deservedly.
But Lindsay took it in full stride. She goes, no, I wish I could have.
Shame.
she goes, I wish I could have. I don't know what that would be. It's like, I can think of what that would be. Like,
Yeah.
like do you remember the Wicked Oreos where one was Elphaba and then one was Glenda, and it was pink or green, and you got to have which one? Like any company would have said
she could do Sweet and Low. She could do
green and red packets, right? Do they have green and red packets?
Pink.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, pink. Sorry, pink and green. Yeah, Sweet and Low would have been amazing. Sweet and Low. Wait, I'm trying to imagine it. Close my eyes.
Little music notes on it.
Oh, that's so cute. Turner goes, Lindsay, close your eyes. This is all on camera. Close your eyes. I'm going to put a Sweet and Low
He's
packet.
like, do you want equal or Sweet and Low? Because equal is blue.
Oh, right. And then Sweet and Low's pink, right?
Yes.
Oh, good. Oh, right. So he'd be like, it's honestly, it's so
It
easy
writes
if you're. I mean, you don't even need AI for this one. Honey, I know you don't want sugar in your coffee. Do you want a sugar substitute? I have two options. I know which one you like the most. And she goes, darling, what would that be? He goes, close your eyes. She opens her hands and he drops in the Sweet and Low packet. That's cute, right?
She goes, ooh, pink. That's what I like because of this person inside me.
Wonderful. I mean, I can't think of any other brands that have two opposing colors that it makes sense what you could do, but I know that if I was a brand marketing person, I could come up with something to sponsor a gender reveal. Do you think that there was no way for her to?
She didn't get the offer, but she should have been thinking harder on how to pitch for that.
Yeah, totally. Okay, Sierra arrives first, and this is when Sierra drops a bombshell on their laps.
Yes.
She's got the Emerald scoop. Emerald, he goes, did you all do a group hang? How was that? And she goes, it was great. Emerald likes to have sex. He goes to these things called play parties, and we've been touting New York and saying like, oh my God, like the shit that goes down in New York. Like you and I are like, we live in Los Angeles. I don't know what this kind of stuff is, but they go to houses. Emerald goes, I got into a house, 18 rooms, 2 couches on either side, sex swing in the middle. It's like
giving freak off.
Totally. Were those, that's what Diddy did, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so what? Everyone goes in the house and people have sex on that sex swing in front of you, or you have sex on the couches, or you go into
Just
bedrooms.
a full eyes wide shut.
Yeah, and then Sierra, she's telling this, and we're getting flashes of the conversation. She's telling this to Lindsay and Danielle, and then they go, "How many partners did you have sex with?" And he goes, 2.5. And everybody goes, "Oh my God!" And then West asks the best question I've ever heard in my life on Bravo. He goes, did you edge the whole time, or did you come more than once? And Emerald thinks about it, and he goes, I didn't come at all.
And Wes goes, boo.
I have to say, I'm going to be a little bit of a stinker here. Until I see Emerald have sex, this is giving Jordan Belfort from season 3 of Summer House. He's set up in exactly the same way. Riding on a motorcycle, saying that, hey, when I have sex with 2.5 people. The last time I had sex was in a sex swing at a orgy house. It's like, remember Jordan? He was like, all of his anecdotes were from like American Pie. Yeah. He was like, one time I was having sex with someone and a dog started biting my ass. Yeah. Or one time I was having sex with a girl and I accidentally hit a bunch of glue and glue glued us together. And everybody's like, I think this is all fake. And so I do think
like,
Emerald,
one time at band camp.
totally. I think Emerald does have sex, but as of now, he has the same introduction as Jordan. I'm just gonna say that.
He's definitely like feeling himself. He comes into the motorcycle. Every woman he encounters, he kisses them on the cheek. Like he kind of like lingers in a creepy way.
Carl had to take his bags up because he didn't want to take them on his motorcycle, or couldn't.
Oh wow! Did you also notice there appeared to be Uber Eats spawn?
Oh yeah, it was perfect Uber Eats bag. They looked like there's not like a scratch.
I've never
on
gotten that in my life.
A perfect bag.
That's not how it works. They don't. No. The bag is from where you got it from, not from Uber Eats.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. It was Uber Eats food in there. That was awesome. Why do you think Emerald? I don't want to get too explicit, but why do you think Emerald didn't have a satisfying conclusion at that big sex house?
Because they asked him for his doctor's ID and he had to get in the cab that was waiting outside and he had to return his masquerade costume.
Do you think he found out that Nick Nightingale was murdered?
By Alan Cumming at the hotel desk?
Yeah, remember, anyway, well, we'll talk about that another time. But yeah, he was at a total eyes wide shut party. I mean, do you remember, how does Tom Cruise get busted?
He doesn't know. He knows the password because he gets in, but then there's more to it, I think. Like they asked him to finish a sentence or something.
I think there was one more password or something. I think he was like ogling the naked people too long, and everyone else is so used to that it's like they don't mind two naked people having sex. But Tom Cruise was kind of going like, whoa, whoa!
You could just see his eyes like blinking behind the mask.
He took his mask off to see it clear, and they're like, "You're not a part of this sex society." But anyway, I want to know more. Well, I hope that he keeps continuing to talk about this playhouse that we're going to learn about.
He's going to get in trouble if he keeps talking about it.
Right.
Okay, and then in this timeline, Paige has just gotten her cat, Daphne, through Sierra and Hannah's recommendation because they're both cat ladies. And then we find out that Jesse met Lexi's parents and they show a clip and he like brings flowers to meet the mom. I was thinking, I feel like, I don't know if it's just because she's so young, but Lexi and her mom remind me of Lala and her mom.
Wow. Yeah.
They look the same.
You just gave me a flash of that when you said it. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. When Jesse gets there, he gives her a kiss on the cheek and he goes, "Do you want the real thing?" In front of her parents, and the dad's just sitting there on the bench going, "I don't know this person very well."
It's so weird. Like, who wants to meet? Who wants their parents to meet someone that quickly, and who wants to meet someone's parents that quickly?
He said he was doing it as a goof, and he thought this is just a story, a phenomenal story he'll be able to tell someday. But he said on the ride, he was going, "Oh fuck, this is a big deal. What am I actually doing?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're reveling. They're both reveling in how fast this is, and that's a part of the fun of this, how quickly they're doing everything.
Yeah, and apparently she told him, like, if we end up dating, are you still going to text or comment all that crazy shit on Instagram, like when you, like, ogle Amanda and whoever else? And he's like, I like to gas up my girlfriends in the comments section. And she's like, you should just say, your dress is pretty or whatever. And he was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and his comments, I forgot about him. I've been missing some of them, but they are so good. He goes, I think one of them was "holy fuckamole" because they had to bleep it or censor it. And then I love the one where he goes, "Holy bejesus, my eyes are burning from how hot you are." I think that is so fun and sweet. And then Amanda says, "Please, everyone is waiting, Jesse, for the next comment that you're going to leave on me that says how hot I am."
Yeah, she's like, I just posted. Can you get to it? Okay, then this is like the end of it, really. They're going to have a chef. They're setting up that they're going to do the gender reveal. And then this is like Paige venting more about Kyle.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's it. And we already talked about what Paige tells Sierra. She goes, I'm about to say all of this shit at the gender reveal party. She goes, the only reason, Kyle, you get away with this shit is because of who your wife is. And she goes, and you were venting to me and pretending that I was or acting like I was your friend, venting to me about Amanda, and I didn't tell those things to Amanda what you were venting to me about. But now you're gonna talk shit about my best friend and my boyfriend. She's so pissed now. So Kyle is in for it next week. Do you think did you think it was a little too soon, just to go back to the Lexi thing? Do you think it's a little too soon for Lexi to say, stop, please don't put I'm so sexually attracted to you, or you're so hot under all of the on Instagram? What did you think about that?
Yeah. He framed it like, if we are dating, would you still do that?
Oh, right.
That makes more sense. I don't know if she put the kibosh on it immediately. Especially because I don't think he wants to. But
and maybe she said it in jest too, like, "Oh, would you like? I know you as doing that. Would you stop that fun facet of your character?" You know, I can imagine Lexi saying something like that. Oh, and then I want to say one moment about the next week's episode. So we get the Kyle and Paige shit, which is probably going to be the most explosive thing that has happened this season yet. I mean, it looks wild.
Yeah.
But I loved the image of Carl running around the house collecting gender reveal Easter eggs for Lindsay's gender reveal, and Paige is like, Carl's on my team, and Carl is so into it. He's in the bushes grabbing eggs. He's running through the house looking for more. It's just that you could never write something like that.
Good sport.
Even in a sitcom on Friends, they would be like, I don't know, would Joey really be rushing around for eggs? You know, for his, well, Joey didn't have a significant other on there.
It's giving Ross.
Total Ross would possibly do that. But anyway, I really enjoyed this one because I'm settling in with all of these cast members I love, and I really think that this was a good Jesse showcase in a way. I mean, the new cast members, this was not a one-time aberration of Wes and Jesse being the new people in the house. Now Jesse is like the focus of 40% of what is going on in this house with his relationship with Lexi. And then Wes is just fun to watch no matter what, you know. So, you know, great second season for them.
Wes isn't doing much, but maybe he'll have something.
Yeah, Lindsay, I think so. Well, you know, I think he's reserved because of what he and Sierra went through for the first 3 episodes. But I think I saw somewhere that Lindsay Hubbard said something to Wes, like she commented, I did more in my sleep this season than Wes did all season.
Right. Rude.
Yeah. Rude.
Also, the last thing that Paige says about Kyle is that he's lucky she doesn't buy Loverboy and fucking sell it. And I was like, did you make some sort of a deal that I don't know about that you can purchase Loverboy in its entirety?
I didn't know the financials on that, but it was definitely a braggadocious claim that could have, truth behind it.
I have to imagine it has a pretty high valuation at this point.
What do you think?
Well, nothing gets that skinny girl deal anymore. But
what was that? 50 million?
100
million. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Bethany famously, she had some clause in that where she got the most money you could ever get for a mixed drink.
She will not stop talking about it.
That skinny girl logo has got to be one of the worst logos in history. No offense, but that thing...
Did you like Alex McCord's original version better?
Of course. I loved Alex McCord's original version. It's just so ridiculous. But I don't know if Paige is at the point where she can buy Loverboy, but I did think it was interesting when she said Craig only did one ad for Sprit Society, and Kyle made it seem like he was going to be a partner in Sprit Society. So I wonder if Paige didn't know that aspect yet, or if it's true that Craig just did that one jumping in the pool with Shep ad for Sprit Society, and that was the end. Because I haven't seen Sprit Society. He didn't try to introduce it this season. He's not talking about Sprit Society anymore, so maybe it was a one-off.
Yeah, interesting. Well, we'll see.
Well, we will see. How do you feel about ripping ass over to Beverly Hills?
Not ripping ass.
How do you feel about taking a flight from the Hamptons over to Beverly Hills and go to one of my favorite ideas for a party I've ever heard in my life, Caftans and Caviar?
It's great. Caviar Catastrophe, it's called.
They didn't just want to say Caftans and Caviar. They tried to be creative with I just want to say this for 1 second. We're watching Southern Hospitality, and they did a Vegas episode, and guess what the title of the Vegas episode was?
Oh God.
Guess the second thing you think.
Tell me.
Viva Las Vegas.
What would the first thing be?
I don't know. Southern Hospitality cast goes to Vegas, or just Vegas. But I was like, that is the laziest title I've ever seen in my life. I'm gonna say it now before we get into Southern Hospitality. Southern Hospitality is.
I would have said Leva Las Vegas.
That would have been so much better. It was Viva Las Vegas. Southern Hospitality is pretty bad. I mean, it's almost it's enjoyable.
How far are you?
I'm almost caught up. Maddie Reese, I'm going to spoil it. You won't care. Maddie Reese is DJing her ass off at the Conrad Hilton, and Grace Lilly unfortunately showed up a little too close for comfort to her song performance that she was going to have at Maddie Reese's DJ set. But I have to say, it's almost RHONY level where I would watch it with you to just dissect how bad. Not bad, but just what a misfire almost everything is. And I'm ready. It has a lot of the tools to potentially be good, but there's some major fundamental problems. And so we'll talk about it someday.
I'm binging Severance. I finished season 1, and now I'm on to season 2. And once I'm done binging that, then I'll continue to binge Southern Hospitality.
One quick tangent. I'm sorry, but how does season 1 end? Does it end with Adam Scott about to burst in on his innie?
His innie is in the outie world, and he discovers, spoiler in 5 seconds, that his wife. It's not even a spoiler because they tell you husband? Years before. Right. Or not years before, but episodes before, you, the viewer, know what he then finds out. So it's not as shocking to find it in the finale because you already know, but he didn't know. Can
you remind me? Yeah,
his
spoilers.
Wife, his outie wife, is that like therapist woman from The Office, but in the real world, she's supposedly dead. But she's alive in the innie world. So
he's been having conversations and doing stuff with his wife, who is actually dead in the real world.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whenever I think too long about the rules and like what it means for them on Earth versus whatever, I'm like, I don't think I need to think about it very much because it might just fall apart pretty quickly. But I realized you never saw The Substance, did you?
No, not yet, but I'm going to.
Okay. I just realized rewatching that it's kind of similar. Oh. You'll see when you see it, but there's like a severed, she's kind of like severed from her hot young version. Like their experiences are separate.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I mean, I'm definitely going to watch The Substance, especially when it wins Best Picture and Best Actor and when it sweeps at the Oscars. But is Adam Scott, when he's in the innie world, is he just on a computer with his eyes closed at his house for 6 hours?
That's my question. I'm like, I think it's the same physical form because you watch them transform. It's like their brain makes the switch.
Oh,
but they're not physically present any longer.
Oh, so he can
still drive to their one human body.
Oh, right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's not. I mean, we'll think about it as we go through season 2. But let's talk about this, which is it's not so similar to Severance, but it is Beverly Hills. Caviar catastrophe. This actually, even though I didn't think this episode was like very fun, I did learn a lot of cool stuff. It had a lot of like Hollywood stuff, and it did have like some of the ethos of what Beverly Hills should be. It just wasn't as entertaining and dramatic as I wanted it to be.
Oh yeah, it had me looking up that Getty girl for my mood board.
Let's talk about her. Jennifer Tilly is at Caviar, Caspia. You and I don't. Have you been?
I have not been.
I haven't been
to my price range.
I haven't been to the one in Paris, and I have yet to go to this one. But apparently, they have so much caviar, every different type. And so Jennifer Tilly is like, let's have caftans and caviar. And she sent out the invite, and she goes, "Everybody think of Talitha Getty." Mm-hmm. And she's a caftan icon.
Queen.
Did you know who that was?
I feel like I knew the name, but I had to look it up, and she was like married to one of the Gettys.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. I looked at her a little bit, and I didn't see how many caftans she was wearing, but I didn't do the most research. But Jennifer Tilly says, I don't even really like caviar. I don't know it very well, but I just ordered the most expensive version. The only caviar I don't like is that orange blobs. And unfortunately, that's the only caviar I get is when I scrape it off of sushi that I get. You know those orange blobs?
Yes. I just have to say, this woman, Dutch actress and socialite, died at 30 years old.
No way.
I need to dig into this
Tragic.
wiki later.
Oh my God. If I died at 30, I would be so bummed.
Speaking of, sorry, rip Michelle Trachtenberg, Harriet the Spy.
Oh my gosh. I didn't think we would bring it up in the news because it was going to bum us out. Yes. Rest in peace. That is so sad.
R.I.P.
All right. Well,
okay. Also, I wanted to bring up that I think I'm going to go see the movie Bound, starring Jennifer Tilly, with her in person.
Whoa, really?
Coming up. I'll send you the link.
Oh my gosh. Whoa, you got to let me know how that is.
Yeah.
That'll be so fun. Wow. Okay. That's so cool. Okay. Sutton is there first to make sure that the caviar tastes perfectly salty. And she gets in and Jennifer gives her a little gift from Sardinia. She goes, I went to the Dolce & Gabbana Awards. I talked to Dolce & Gabbana and they wanted to give you this gift. It's a little dish. Did you see it? Like a blue and white dish. And
yeah. I'm surprised that they're so they go so hard for Dolce & Gabbana because they're kind of like low-key canceled for being homophobic.
Oh, both of them?
Dolce and Gabbana.
Oh, wait, what? Well, I guess we have
the Kardashians never cared, but that's less surprising than these two. I would have thought they would have cared more, but they kind of have like a stink on them to a lot of people.
Damn, I had no idea about the Dolce & Gabbana stink. Sutton informs Tilly that she goes, I want to be spoiled rotten by a rich man. It's only billionaires from me from here on out. I want, traveling, caviar, yachts, sports teams.
Oh, yes.
The what are those booths that everybody sits in at sports games? Sweets. And then she goes, and guess what? You missed a horrible 4th of July party. Dorit accused me of being an alcoholic. And then she recites the joke of the Dorit being like, what did Dorit say? She goes, you're asking Sutton as if it's not in fact true that she would have alcohol within her drink?
Yeah. I got to say, I mean, we're going to get into the back and forth, but on Watch What Happens, they were like, whose side are you on? And I was like, I've never taken less pleasure in picking a side. Like after what happens at this lunch, we'll talk about it. I think Sutton fucked up and was bad. So in this instance, I take Dorit's side, but in general, I'm like, I don't like either of you right now.
Yeah, it wasn't a fun fight. It's like the only thing to talk about this episode. But
yeah,
let's quickly. You let me know what you thought about the Kyle life coach scene. I love this life coach. I think this is the guy from last season that I also remember saying, "Damn, this guy is like." Some therapists are so shitty in the Bravo network. This guy is cool, but what did you like about that scene?
I mean, we just got more info on Mauricio, how she felt about what he's up to. She said something I thought was enlightening where it felt like she said what you were saying, that like the ball was in his court, where she's like, what if he has all this fun and is like, okay, I sowed my oats and now I want to come back. She's like afraid to move on in case he comes back. And I'm like, why are you waiting around for him to make that decision?
Yeah. Yeah. It gave to me, I want them to prove how much they love me, and I'm not tolerating the love I'm getting from that person. Like, that's what I imagined it was. Kyle was like, these are 3 major things that need to change. If cheating is one of them, we don't truly know, but I think it possibly was. And then he was almost completely absent and withdrawn from her. And so I think she made this decision. And yeah, that's what I got from this conversation. She was like, I don't want to move on in case he's coming back, but I'm starting to get the sense that he is enjoying his wild oats. And there is wild oats being enjoyed in this episode, which I don't think she's even reckoned with yet. She hasn't even got to the point where Mauricio is doing things with other people.
Yeah, she's like, she made it seem like potentially the only reason he didn't leave sooner is because he was afraid to be alone, and that now that they've done this test ground and he's actually thriving alone, that he's like, oh, actually, like, fuck you, I'm good. Like, I don't need you at all.
Yeah, there's a movie where that happens, where the person who wanted to get divorced ends up doing all their shit. The other person is so upset. And then that person who was doing all the fun of their life ends up being the one who wants them back so bad. I think it's a common thing that possibly happens. But yeah, Mauricio is like getting a taste of this bachelor life, and he's in that condo. He's going to Greece. What did the life coach mean when he says, the emotion is the loss? Do you know what that means?
Like that's why she's sad?
Is it like, don't think about anything else? Everything you're thinking about is just really you dealing with the actual fact that you are not together right now?
Yeah, because she said that usually, historically, Mauricio is a very emotional person, but that he's not being that way right now. So maybe he's kind of in denial too.
The emotion is the loss. Yeah, I was trying to think about what that meant. But yeah, and then Kyle ends it. You know, she says, I think if it continues on this way, I may need to move on. So it seems like to me, Mauricio didn't make any of the steps that she thought he would, you know, in this new era of their life. So I feel bad for Kyle about that.
For sure. We check in at Beau's. She flies out a fertility specialist to meet up with her. And I have a feeling that this is not going to happen. That I don't know where her relationship stands today, but I assume we would have heard something. But the doctor's like, after 45 years old, you have a 2% or less chance of natural conception, which she seems shocked by. She gets a bedroom ultrasound, which, did you notice that random man that was there?
Yeah, they didn't introduce him. I wish they would have, because he comes out from underneath her bed, and you don't get any explanation. But I guess he was just a technician who was twisting the dials or something. But yeah, it's like, this is my technician. I think they cut that out. I have to say, the more we go down this road, I'm kind of just in bits and pieces accepting the Beau's narrative with Keely. But it just, I gotta stop and just say, it doesn't seem good that they haven't said I love you yet, and don't even know
and are
if
going to take on the most high risk pregnancy of all time in history. She already had complications with her first ones, and now she's like 20 years older than she was before.
For this person who says, I'm going to take a lot of time before I marry you, you need to give me all the time in the world. Like, I'm fine with him because I don't know him very well, and I don't know the ins and outs of their relationship because we're just meeting them. But I kind of just took a look at this right now, and I was just like, don't boast, please. I mean, I don't know if is this love true?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of fucked up and weird, I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, I think you are probably right that the Keely Beau's era ended. I don't think that this had the foundation for a good relationship, from what I can see.
Right. Okay. Now we can cruise over to Caspia. Sutton has, throughout this episode, started to get her digs in. She already said, she calls Dorit Porit.
Can I just say, I think that's going to stick.
Oh, no.
Porit. It's perfect. Porit.
It's kind of a cool name. She's like, she probably orders the cheapest Red Row caviar, like you were saying. And she's like, whereas I get the Osetra, like expensive caviar. And so I was like, like this is already, she's on one already.
She's letting us know, hey, I'm going to introduce into evidence that I'm much wealthier than Dorit, and that Dorit is poor. And we'll get into that because I have some thoughts. But everyone arrives, right, or starts to arrive. There's vodka Caspia, which is, it seems like it's made for this wonderful restaurant, Caviar Caspia. They have their own vodka too.
Yeah. Erica looks fab. She always understands the assignment, as they say, of what to wear. And she's like, she says that she loves Jennifer Tilly, that she thinks she's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And she goes, I don't know. She goes, how she's friends with Sutton, I don't know.
Yeah, I always am shocked when I learn that two people don't like each other when it's not so apparent. And Erica just doesn't fuck with Sutton very much.
No, she's dead to her for life after like all the shit she gave her during
Yeah.
her trial.
At one point, Erica says that Dorit's party was hot and Les Mis. And did that mean miserable?
Yeah.
It did?
Yeah.
Like her party was Les Mis, miserable.
Yeah.
I miss her saying that.
Did you see that army choir singing Les Mis at that White House party?
No. Which song did they sing?
Do you hear the people sing? Some people think it was a secret wink to us rising up against them.
Wait, a people's army choir came into the White House and said, do you hear the people sing? Because it's to get us ramped up to have a uprising and take back control of the country.
To Jan 6, yeah.
Do you hear the people sing?
That's what my instruction would be.
Wow.
Would be like,
well, oh my God! When you sing that outdoors, you know a revolution is about to happen. A lot of Les Mis in culture. John Mulaney brought it back to an SNL. He had "Who Am I?" one of my favorite songs of all time.
It's timeless.
Absolutely. Dorit comes in and talk about not knowing whether or not you wore a caftan to an event when it was expressly advised that you should. Talitha Getty style. Dorit wears a Chanel or no?
Dior.
She's Dior wonderful.
I'm glad
jumpsuit.
it came up. I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, and so Dorit says, I didn't read the part that said caftan, which, you know, I think that if 90% of the people, 9 out of 10, got that part, she must have just not wanted to wear a caftan and stand out.
She said they're not her favorite.
Yeah.
They asked Jennifer Tilly afterwards what she thought about that. She was like, it couldn't have been more clear. It literally said caviar and caftans at the top.
Yeah.
And she said her reading comprehension must be shitty.
Damn. Meaning she doesn't think Dorit can read?
Can't read. Illiterate.
Sutton goes, can I have a big, huge vat of water? And Dorit goes, is that because I called you an alcoholic the other day? And then
she's like, am I allowed to drink fucking water? Like, it's immediately like, oh God, like, get away from each other.
There is one fun moment where there's an Anna Marie there, and I go, oh my God. And then Garcelle goes, Anna Marie. She sees a name tag there, and then Garcelle goes, sorry, it's a different one. And she goes, oh, hell no. Like, she didn't want to see Anna Marie again.
I also, ever since you told me that Sheena said that it is appreciated to say things that warrant clip packages, now I can't unsee it because Sutton's like, I've been saying it for years. I told her 5 years ago to let the mouse go. I was like, ah!
Yeah, seriously, it's like, okay, if an edit of an episode is 38 minutes long and then they have 4 or 5 people teasing flashbacks, they can just cut in 4 minutes of them.
Yeah. I was excited to see Faye Resnick. I always love when she's in the mix. She was like having the time of her life.
Tell me why. I know Faye as much as anyone else in the world because of what I've viewed her, like, as a viewer. And I never truly get that much enjoyment from anything Faye says or does ever.
It's not that I actually like her. It's more because it like grounds it in that Beverly Hills history.
Yeah.
And it just causes me to think about OJ. It causes me to think about the morally corrupt Faye Resnick, the dinner party from hell.
Yeah.
I like that they just actually hang out with her. Like, she grounds the show, and like she showed up with Kathy. Like, she's part of their lives. She's friends with like Kris Jenner. Like, she's just like makes it real. She's
part of the atmosphere of Beverly Hills in a way. It's a very awkward start. I don't know what the hell Jennifer Tilly was thinking. She should have said like, this caviar is so good. Name your favorite type or something. But she just lets everybody sit there, no talk at all. And then Faye is the one who has to say something. She goes, Tilly, she goes, I love that you were nominated for an Academy Award. And then Jennifer Tilly goes, that was a very long time ago that I got to go to that big show. And guess what? Gregory Peck stepped on my dress while I was there at the Oscars.
Iconic.
That is so cool. And
they do a whole like Oscar history lesson where Erica, I would love to talk to her about, she's like a TCM head, and I think Lisa Rinna is too. Maybe that's what they bond about, but like they watch TCM like all the time, and she knows like old Hollywood and stuff. So that's part of I like her because she knew about Cher's Armenian history. I was like, she knows her legends.
Yeah.
And I like that.
I loved it too.
Yeah, she was like, were you guys... First of all, I didn't know that Jennifer Tilly's sister had been nominated for an Oscar, so now I know that.
Psycho 2!
Which I highly doubt she was nominated for Psycho 2. I don't think that movie's nominated for anything.
She is so good in Psycho 2, but no, it was called Agnes of God. I looked it up. She was Best Supporting Actor. She plays a nun that I think accidentally or does something like suffocates her baby or something, and another nun, Jane Fonda, has to figure out why the hell Jennifer Tilly's sister did that.
Okay. So yeah, it was Olivia de Havilland and who's her sister?
Well, because, Erica goes, are you the only two sisters that were ever nominated for an Oscar? Wait, scratch that. Olivia de Havilland
and Joan Fontaine.
Right.
Were the OGs.
It's cool that she had that sister lore, just off the back of her hand. She's like, I know the two different pairs of sisters that were nominated for Oscars.
Wasn't there... wasn't there going to be a feud about them? Because, like, those sisters, like, hated each other, like, their whole lives or something, and they lived... I think... Didn't Olivia de Havilland live until, like, last year?
I had to look... I had to look her up.
She died in 2020, but she was old as fuck. She was 104.
Yeah, I got to look into both of those. I was learning a lot of new stuff. What was kind of fun is that they all have Oscar fever. It was perfectly timed, just as you and I are entering Oscars, the big night. Why do you think Gregory Peck decided to step on her dress?
He's probably old as hell. Didn't know what the hell was going on.
Oh my God! Yeah, I was trying to think what the hell Gregory Peck was thinking when he stepped on Jennifer Tilly's Isaac. Mizrahi dress.
That's
Tilly
so like perfect 90s choice. That means nothing to you, but yes.
Tilly also goes, hey, I've got other facts about myself. I was the only half Chinese American that has been nominated for an Oscar. My sister as well.
That probably had Kathy gagged because she was hanging on to having that old school Chinese heritage.
I did look at Kathy, and she goes, damn. She goes, I thought I had the only link to 3000 BC China. I think, who was it who asked? She goes, you're Chinese. Jennifer Tilly goes, yes, my father is, right?
Yeah. And then, oh my gosh, I was just, because they keep talking about Erica, I don't even know why she said that. She's like, I'm half native. I was like, all right, why are we like going back and forth like tete-a-tete? And I just got a clip of it's Luann and Sonia, just like put your hand into a jar of any clip of them together over the course of history, and it's the most insane shit you've ever seen in your life. And it's them talking about like their heritage, and Sonia's like, I always thought I was Native American, because of the cheekbones. And like, it was just like, you're like, please shut up, like, stop. And then I'm like, I don't even want to know what Luann's about to say. Like, get me out of here.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I got to go back and remember what Luann probably countered in that moment.
My God.
But yeah.
Remember what she said at that dinner with Carol about Carol was like, you cannot say that.
Oh yeah, totally. Oh,
and I'm not even gonna quote her because it's too bad.
Yeah, and then that's when the Cher thing comes out. Jennifer Tilly goes, I always wanted to be like Cher. I forget for what reason. Cher sang a song.
Half breed and like gypsies, tramps, and thieves. Like Cher always had this like vibe, and Erica's like, she's Armenian from the Valley, and Kathy's like, what's with you in the Valley?
Yeah, what did Kathy mean? She doesn't think that Erica likes the Valley. Is it because they went to that Chuck E. Cheese in the Valley?
I know. I was like, and Erica was like, I love the Valley. I used to live in the Valley. And I was like, when?
Yeah, what the hell? But I do love all of those factoids. And then Sutton goes, I think Sutton starts to speak French at one point. She goes, s'il vous plaît,
laissez compétent.
She goes, les piscines, laissez compétent. And Garcelle goes, look at you, French head with that language. And Sutton goes, yeah, I went to Caviar, Caspia in France. And then...
I went to Caviar Academy. You can tell Dorit's pissed because she's like, I'm the one that speaks the different languages. Then Sutton's like, I'm trying to decide who I'm going to be today, because apparently earlier Dorit said, I never know which Sutton I'm going to get. Yeah. And Sutton, because she's a freak and doesn't know how to talk to people, goes, Bose, how many people are inside of you today? And Bose is like, what the fuck?
She goes, I don't have any voices inside my head like you presumably do.
I am
Sutton.
one.
So I
one
gotta
and
say,
done.
I find Sutton to be funny. I think that she has a great sense of humor, but when she's got once a moment or once the spotlight, she flops like a fish. Harder than anyone I've ever seen. Magic Mike, complete flop. This moment with Dorit, horrible. The handbag moment where she couldn't have a tete-a-tete with Dorit, she just flopped. Like, she's funny. I think she's very charismatic and engaging, but she's not good when the pressure is on. Sutton is not going to get that center diamond in any way. This solidified it completely. So this immediately makes Dorit go, like, you're talking right around me. I know I said that. She finds out that she's still pissed about the alcohol comment. She brings up the handbag and shit. And then Sutton is basically letting Dorit know that she's never going to let that alcohol shit stand. She is so much more pissed than she even was at the 4th of July party that's why she wants to bring this new slander against Dorit up. And that's when she starts to talk about the differences in their wealth.
Yes. So she starts talking directly to Dorit, and then Dorit clinks her glass because she's like, I'm not taking this alone. Everyone can stop and listen to what she's about to say.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't need everyone to listen. She's like, no, let's see what I kind of liked that power move on Dorit's part. I thought it was kind of baller.
It was cool because it makes Sutton 10 times more awkward to have to say it for the full group. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
actually.
like, own what you're about to say then. Like, let's let everyone hear.
And maybe that is what threw Sutton off. She thought that Anna Marie and whoever else were going to have, like, at Faye Resnick, were going to have side conversations, but no, you had the full table's attention. That was pretty good.
Yeah, pretty baller.
Yeah.
And she goes, why don't you pick on somebody else whose wallet fits? And everyone's like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, that line sucks.
It also, it just doesn't roll off the tongue.
Pick on somebody else whose wallet fits.
Yeah. And Erica goes, you think you're bigger than her? And she goes, I think my wallet is. And I'm like, what a weird angle to decide on.
Yes, I am fine with it. Because then Dorit, okay, so Dorit goes, at some point, she goes, that is the lowest, most despicable thing a see you next Tuesday could ever say to someone. And for me, I don't really care about money and who has more. So for me, I don't really mind that Sutton said, I'm richer than you. I just think that she handled it very badly, and it wasn't fun, and she didn't do a good job of wielding that. Lisa Vanderpump, like I always say, she's always the bar of the best thing in the world. If Lisa was so pissed at someone, she could deliver a barb that had some discrepancies in wealth, and we would absolutely love it. But this just landed with a thud because Sutton sucked at it so bad. But I think wealth is par for the course. Why can't anybody talk about I'm richer than someone else if you're mad at them?
It just feels like it means you have nothing else. Like, It's like, okay, congrats, your husband left you a lot of money in your settlement. It's not even your money.
Yeah, I don't think it's good. I just don't think it's the lowest of the low. We shall never monocles fall off if wealth is ever mentioned. I think alluding to the fact that Dorit may be poor is an interesting way for Sutton to go if she wants to bring that up.
I think Sutton knows how low it is, and that's why she did it. Like, I think if of anyone, she's the one who would be the most offended by that sort of talk of anyone.
Yeah.
Like, she's like old school. We don't talk about money. Like, that, I think to her was like the worst thing you could possibly say, and that's why she did it.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know why. I wasn't at all shocked by that. And I didn't understand Dorit's reaction, but you're right. It shows that she had nothing else. It's kind of a weak case because I don't care. I don't care. It's not something that anybody is thinking about.
I have to say, if we're talking bluntly about their money and where they got it from, I am like thinking of things differently, knowing that Sutton had more humble beginnings. Because it's one thing if you're like, I don't know, like, I always for some reason really thought, just I guess by the way she portrays herself, that she came from money historically, like always, like society and like all of this stuff. And knowing that it was really just through her marriage in the past 20 years or whatever makes me be like even potentially more offended, because it's like, you don't even like come from you know, like the Vanderbilts or some shit that like makes you so like intertwined with wealth. I'm like, you just literally got a divorce settlement. Like that's not that impressive to me.
And Dorit brings that up like perfectly within 1 second. She goes, oh yeah, because Christian dropped his pocketbook in front of you when you got divorced. Now you have wealth over me. I think it's Sutton handled it so badly, and it's pretty lame, and it got the reaction that I think it deserved. But I just think that if someone else did it better, I think it's par for the course talking about finances if you really want to piss somebody off and you're mad at them.
Well, yeah, especially like I feel like it's unspoken of what Dorit and PK, their troubles that I think became more clear later. Like with their foreclosure and stuff. But like, like if you're trying to take them down, that's certainly something you can bring up. Yeah,
I was thinking like if Heather Dubrow on OC wanted to get back at Tamra, and she was just like, finally the niceties just end, and she said something to that effect.
Oh my God, they would murder her. They would like guillotine her.
I mean, yeah, they would have, but I'm just saying, like, you can imagine it in a compelling scenario where someone didn't do it as badly as Sutton did. Potentially, Sutton calls Dorit Missy at one point, and Erica is doing a good job of being counter to what Sutton is doing and calling her out on everything she says, but not specifically raising the ire of Sutton. But you can tell that Erica, like she already said, why is Jennifer Tilly friends with Sutton? Like, she doesn't fuck with Sutton at all. And so she's commenting on all of these lame things that Sutton is saying as this argument is going on.
Yeah. I liked when Dorit's like, so it's okay for you to storm off, but not okay when Kyle does it. And Sutton goes, I wasn't sitting on the side of the road in a bathrobe. And Kyle makes a really funny face like, well, fuck me.
Yeah, that's pretty great. Why did you want to throw Kyle into it like that? It was the same thing. You did it. Hers was worse. Sitting in the entryway and just waiting for somebody to say goodbye to you or whatever the hell she was doing. Hers was way less iconic than what Kyle did.
Yeah, and I think Dorit is like, I should have called you a fucking bitch.
Because Sutton called her a bitch in her house after she did the alcohol comment. And Dorit goes, did I call you a bitch, in my own home? And Sutton goes, I should have called you a fucking bitch. Then even Garcelle is like, oh my God, Sutton, no, this is not going well. Bose, who probably already didn't like Sutton, is like, this sucks. I don't want any part of what Sutton's doing here.
Yeah. Dorit calls to the group and goes, does anyone have a mirror? And I was literally like, if I was there, I'd start to look for a mirror. And she goes, because Sutton needs one right in front of her own face. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, not the best counter either. They're both kind of bad at fighting each other.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, can we like get the hell out of this dynamic? I don't care. I liked when Jennifer was like, she's like, I'm just trying to avoid a caviar food fight. It would be messy and expensive.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. Kyle is saying, what do you all need from each other to move past this? This sucks. Sutton just said the wallet fits thing, and Dorit just asked for a mirror rhetorically.
Like, Kyle, while you're just sitting there doing nothing, and Kyle's like, no, you cannot get pissed at me over this one.
Dorit wanted to bring Kyle into it again and start another fight with Kyle because this one was not working out. Then Kyle goes, I'll switch seats with you. And then all of a sudden, Jennifer Tilly goes, bring out the potatoes. And these twice baked potatoes come out, and the price range on this $250 to $1,000 depending on how much baked they are the second time or how big they are. Could you imagine
$100 per bake?
Could you imagine that range? $250 to $1,000. I'd be looking at all of those and being like, can I just have the $250 ones, please?
Totally. But then you might get those shitty red roe eggs.
Oh, right. Right. I'm sorry. That includes that caviar on them. I thought it was just the potato price. That includes
$1,000 potato.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. So that's what if you have Osella or Red Row on one, right?
Osella.
Is it? Wasn't that the best brand that Sutton said?
Osetra.
Oh, Osetra. Right. I'm sorry about that. And then
that really makes me think about Bethany's caviar budget. She puts like globs every day on everything she eats.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know where we should go one night for the Turtle Time 2-year anniversary? The dumpster of Caviar Caspia, and you and I bring a bunch of potatoes. Not whipped cream, sour cream.
Yeah.
You and I wait for the big bag of fish. Fish eggs.
The leftovers. Well, one time I came into possession of a little thing of caviar, and I went through the Wendy's drive-thru and put it on that potato from Wendy's.
How did it taste?
It was good.
That gave me the chills from the scene from Sideways at the end where he drinks his Merlot in a Burger King cup. Do you remember that?
Wow.
He has that wonderful Merlot and he eats it in a Burger King. That's amazing. I had caviar, I think 4 Christmases ago because Kathy Hilton was talking about caviar on a potato, whatever season that was. Megan and I recreated that dish. The first time I ever had caviar too.
Yeah.
All right. What else happens?
Then Dorit and Kyle go to the side. Kyle is saying that she understands Sutton's triggers after the Augusta trip. She understands better.
It was an empathy generator. Oh my God. That was so pivotal for Kyle to see Sutton in a new light. She says the dad's alcoholism and addiction and issues and all that shit is why Sutton is pushing back. And then immediately it puts things into perspective. It's like, I don't justify all behavior, but Kyle now knows that that's why Sutton is acting like that. And now that she's seen Sutton in that environment, she has more empathy for her through all these situations. So I thought that was nice.
But then the first thing after she says that, Dorit goes, when Sutton balances her meds, she can come see me.
And Kyle goes, she's not going to like that based off what I know.
Like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's all that happens there. I don't care about them getting on the same page ever again, but we'll see what happens.
Me neither. Yeah, I did like Dorit. She kind of, hits the nuke at the end, and she goes, I am so over this woman. She's gross. I just want to leave this miserable bitch to enjoy her big wallet. And I was like, okay, Dorit, you didn't do good in the moment, but your confessionals, they hit pretty hard.
She has a mouth on her this season.
Yeah, and also Sutton at one point says, I am proud that I brought our wallet sizes into it. I will stand by that.
Weird thing to be proud of. One thing to be like, yeah, I don't give a shit I said it, but to be like, I'm proud that I said it.
I'm so proud that I have more money than her.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay. Then, surprise ending. It's the Mauricio headlines seen round the world. Everyone's talking about it.
People, I have a TikTok video of when that actually happened, and all of a sudden it's going through the roof because of this episode. People are going back into the archive and want to see the TMZ headline of when it happened. He got off of that Mykonos flight, and immediately he is within the arms of someone who we don't know, and they give a huge kiss to each other.
Yes. So Erica calls Kyle. Kyle did not know this was coming. She doesn't know who this person is. Erica says, do you really think that he didn't think this would happen? And Kyle very much is like, when you go to Europe, you don't think that there's going to be paparazzi. And Erica's like, I don't think it was planned, but it was naive. Yeah. And then on the flip side, you have Sutton talking to Garcelle saying she's been to that airport and she saw Jennifer Aniston and there wasn't even paparazzi. So she fully thinks it's staged and that they're each using paparazzi to get back at each other, I guess.
I don't understand that theory. Mauricio said, hey, TMZ or whoever, have a reporter land so I can kiss someone, so that headlines will be, I'm kissing other people and starting possibly a relationship with someone during the separation. Yeah. What is in it for them?
I'm team it was the girl or someone the girl was with or someone at the airport that knew who he was.
Yeah, that could happen. It could be randomly that someone went to Greece and goes, that's Mauricio. He's separated from Kylie and he just kissed someone. This is the biggest scoop in the world. I'm going to sell it to TMZ. I didn't understand. Sutton is so conspiracy minded about Kyle. And it's like, and Garcelle just like goes along with it. She's like, they want a war of the roses to play out in the press. It's like, he's getting back at Kyle for having the Morgan Wade stuff. But then she also does say, which I'll give a little more credit to this, she does say, I saw Morgan Wade and Kyle at the gas station, at a Harley Davidson shop. Like, I don't think that there would ever have been paparazzi around them for all of those moments. So I don't know. We've been through this stuff before with if someone called the paparazzis, and I would have never assumed that Mauricio did that on his own. Why?
Right. Yeah, I could see. I read where did I see this? I read a comment or something where someone was saying that whoever he was kissing wanted it to leak so that they could be together, like so that like it would like speed his divorce or something like that.
Gosh, could you imagine if you were at the Mykonos airport and this woman comes over to you and goes, "Can you use my phone really quick and just take a photo for 1 second?" You go, "Of what?" But she goes, "Just do it." And then you have to capture that photo, and then she has it forever.
And that's hanging over your head forever.
Yeah. What's the opposite of naive?
Jaded.
Erica, in a nice way. Erica, no, she's not jaded, but she definitely has her.
She's been burned.
She's been burned, and so like when Erica knows like what's fake and what's real, and she knows when somebody's gonna stab you in the back and when you can trust someone, like she's been through it. Like it's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, next week on this show, Beverly Hills
Makeover.
Martin Lawrence Bullard, he goes, close your eyes. He's got a big curtain over her cabana. He pulls that shit down. We don't get to see it. Erica's mom is there. Erica's mom goes, "Oh my God." And we have no idea what this cabana is going to look like.
I wish we had screeners for that so I could see it one day sooner.
When would we get it? Oh my God. We would get it Monday. Oh, I need to see what Martin Lawrence Bullard. And then I think, what's her name? Erica's mom goes, "I wish it, had one more bed or something." And Erica goes, "That's my mom." And Martin Lawrence.
She's giving Reba.
Totally. And then there's the fashion show. And
Yes.
this is when Kathy, unfortunately, I don't know what's wrong with her, but she doesn't know where her seat is. So she's unfortunately just walking around in circles on the runway during the show. I'm not sure what happened, but it's really worrying.
Kyle's going, "Kathy, it's starting."
So we have to get to the bottom of that. What the hell was going on with Kathy at that runway show?
Yeah.
Anyway, that was actually a more fun episode to talk about, even though it was kind of dumb.
It was quick and dirty.
Okay, let's wind down. How do you feel about that?
Let's
get this thing out of here. Okay, I'll do the Patreon. I'm going to say very quickly, if you enjoyed this Turtle Time, you're like, I love this Summer House content. I love the Beverly Hills recaps. I need more of this. Well, if you've never heard this before, Amy and I have a Patreon, the Turtle Time Patreon, where for $5 a month, Amy and I have started recapping Vanderpump Rules from the very beginning. Season 1, Episode 1. We are now on Season 6, Episode 9, I think. Mm-hmm. So they're over probably 100 episodes at this point that you get access to for $5, and you get access to the Villa Rosa VIP community, which is so fun. Discussion boards, a safe, fun community where everybody is sweet and nice, and you get the access to the Vanderpump Rules archives. I really think for $5 a month, it's one of the most fun things you could do in the world.
Totally worth it. Also, we always ask for you to rate and review because it helps us rise in the ranks. Say nice stuff if you want.
If you want, we know we get a couple 1s and 2 stars, but actually I looked after 2 days ago, and I saw the new 3 or 4 5-star reviews. It was so sweet. They were like, I hate these people's takes. I don't like them at all, but I can't stop getting enough of this shit. And I'll take it.
Addicted.
I'll take any 5-star like that. That is so fun. So I hope that even though, whatever, I hope you don't give it a 1 star, but I totally understand if you do. But if you enjoy it, think about reviewing us because it truly helps.
Yep. And also we record on YouTube. So if you're at your desk and you want to open a new tab and watch us there, you can watch and listen on YouTube.
YouTube is fun. YouTube, we do a bunch of stuff, obviously, on YouTube. Like, get a load of, oh my gosh, get a load of Amy and I at 2 hours and 7 minutes. Look at what Amy and I are doing. But also, I love the comments on YouTube. It's pretty respectful and sweet to us. Every once in a while, people will be like, you two are awful. I will never watch this again. But 90% of it, die. You both are awful. But 90% of it is good. So I like the YouTube community as well.
Yeah, give us a subscribe.
All right. We talked about a lot. Baldwins.
Half of it was Baldwins.
But let's say sayonara, goodbye to Little Turtle Cuties and Villa Rosa VIPs, and you and I will be back next week. Absolutely, without a doubt.
Hell yeah.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.